Hello, I'm Bernard Hickey from interest.co.nz and welcome to a special report on the credit crunch, and in particular how one example of deleveraging globally is affecting us here in New Zealand. When I talk about deleveraging, I'm talking about international lenders pulling money out of housing markets. A good example, overnight, Halifax Bank of Scotland, Britain's biggest mortgage bank, was effectively rescued by Lloyds TSB. After its share price collapsed, it's very exposed to the property market there in Britain. It actually owns a commercial lending operation in this part of the world, a company called BOS International, Bank of Scotland International. It has lent $1.5 billion to New Zealand's property sector through property finance companies and property developers. And this means, this takeover of HBOS, Halifax Bank of Scotland, by Lloyds TSB, means it's likely Bank of Scotland International will stop that lending in New Zealand. And it's a lot of lending. Let's have a look at who they've put money into and which property developments have been funded in part by Halifax Bank of Scotland International. Firstly, Bank of Scotland has lent Strategic Finance $150 million. This is the finance company run by Jock Hobbs and Kerry Finnegan. It's currently in a moratorium and looking to restructure its operations. But a key backer there is Bank of Scotland International. It's backing a takeover bid by the management, including Jock Hobbs, for Strategic from the Australian company Allco HIT. It needs that bank backing to continue. It's also lent Dominion Finance $70 million. Dominion's in all sorts of trouble, and it's not clear whether it survives. It is in receivership right now. Bank of Scotland lent Geneva Finance $43 million. It's in moratorium. Its funds were frozen, and a moratorium agreeing a delayed repayment of investments is involved there. Again, it needs Bank of Scotland to survive. Also, Bank of Scotland has lent Landco, the company behind the Mount Wellington quarry development, $365 million. That operation has now been taken over by the Todd family, but interesting that Bank of Scotland was behind much of the development there. It also lent a company called IMF New Zealand $355 million. They're behind the Westgate development out in West Auckland. They also lent the Infinity Group $155 million. These are the people behind the Pegasus town development outside Christchurch, which is having a tough time of it right now. They're also the lender behind the Soho Square development in Ponsonby, alongside Strategic Finance. Now, Lloyds TSB is reported to be concerned about the level of commercial property investment and lending that HBOS and Bank of Scotland International have been involved in. So we'll see how long that continues, but another sign of how deleveraging globally affects us here in New Zealand. I'm Bernard Hickey with a special report on the credit crunch for interest.co.nz.